The West African Tax Administration WATAF celebrates another successful year coming to an end, still on our determination to ensure strong collaboration amongst ECOWAS member states and towards the improvement of quality of tax administration in respective states, while striving to promote efficient and effective tax administration in member states. We tirelessly engage stakeholders and partners in a series of activities all year long. Here is the rundown of events and activities for the year ending and key achievements. On the 23rd to 24th October 2023, we collaborated with the African Tax Administration WATAF and the African Union AU to organize the West and Central Africa Regional Consultation on International Tax Reforms. The event was geared towards collaboration to put a stop to illicit financial flow and ensure that revenue that belongs to the region is gotten by the region. From 24 to 26 October 2023, we facilitated the visit of a delegation from the Liberia Revenue Authority, LRA, and the Swedish Tax Agency, STA, on a transformative benchmarking mission to the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Nigeria, which sought to identify the strategies used by the FIRS to implement cutting-edge and effective human resources practices and processes. During the same period, we were present at Dakar, Senegal, to take part in the regional reflection and review of the International Budget Partnership IBP's Tax Equity Program. From 13th to 17th November 2023, Mr. Ezeji Francis represented WATAF at the workshop on building debt resiliency in Africa and launch of the ALSF Debt Guides held in Nairobi, Kenya. In Geneva, Switzerland, at the sidelines of the Conference on South-South Cooperation in International Tax Matters, co-organized by the South Center and the Global Alliance for Tax Justice, we and the South Center solidified our collaboration by signing a Memorandum of Understanding MOU on November 27, 2023. As part of strides towards fostering regional cooperation in the field of tax compliance, the West African Tax Administration Forum Compliance Risk Management Network, WATAF CRM Net, held its third meeting on 29 November 2023 virtually. On the 9th of December, we were at the ECOWAS Parliament, Abuja, for the parliamentary workshop on emerging global tax issues and challenges of mobilizing domestic revenue for development in West Africa, where we presented to the Parliament the domestic revenue mobilization challenges faced by West African countries, had discussions on exchange of information as a tool for combating illicit financial flows and their impact on the region, and also proposed strategies for combating tax evasion and promoting tax compliance. Going further, the West African Tax Administration Forum, in collaboration with the Organization of Economic Cooperation Development, OECD, and the Intergovernmental Forum on Mining, Mineral, Metals and Sustainable Development, IGF, organized the fourth in a series of follow-up workshops on extractive taxation themed risk assessment based on taxpayer transfer pricing (TP) documentation. This held from 24th to 25th January 2024. We also participated in a joint closed technical briefing organized by the Platform for Taxation in Latin America and the Caribbean, PTLAC, and the South Center on February 28, 2024. The briefing addressed the taxation of income from international shipping and air transport under Article 8 of the UN and OECD Model Tax Conventions, MTCs. From February 28th to 29th, 2024, while honoring the invitation from the West African Union of Tax Institute to WATAF to attend its 10th Annual International Tax Conference in Cotonou, Benin, Mr. Babatunde Oladapo, the Executive Secretary, gave a presentation at the conference titled Tax Litigation and Fiscal Transparency in ECOWAS States. On the 28th of February 2024, WATAF made her submission of her comments on OECD G20 Inclusive Frameworks Report on Pillar 1, Amount B. On March 5th to 6th, 2024, WATAF contributed 2 expert speakers to the South Center's virtual 2-day capacity building workshop for the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, focusing on the 2-pillar solutions and alternatives. The Executive Secretary of WATAF, Mr. Babatunde Oladapo, played the role of panelist at the 8th KESRA Economic Dialogue webinar hosted by the Kenya School of Revenue Administration on March 7, 2024. WATAF then conducted a study visit to Ghana Revenue Authority on the potential revenue implications of the West African Continental Free Trade Agreement, AfCFTA, in West Africa. Held from March 19th to the 20th, 2024, the study addressed pressing concerns in regional tax revenue mobilization, including evasion, avoidance, and non-compliance challenges. On March 26, 2024, the Communications and Liaison Manager of WATAF, Tochukwu Sandra Onyemata, moderated a webinar hosted by the Network of Tax Organizations (NTO) titled Implementing Environmental Taxes, Best Practices and Lessons Learned. The event convened more than 150 tax officials from NTO member organizations worldwide, including WATAF members. WATAF, a member of the PATF Steering Committee represented by Tochukwu Sandra Onyemata, Communication and Liaison Manager, was present at the press conference hosted by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, on March 28, 2024. The press conference highlighted the achievements of the Support Program for Tax Transition in West Africa, PATF. Following that, the West African Tax Administration Forum, WATAF, with the support of the African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS Nigeria, and the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, organized a 3-day training workshop for tax officials and other relevant stakeholders in West Africa on the theme AfCFTA, a Trade in Services and Taxation in West Africa, in Abuja, Nigeria, from 16th to 18th April 2024. WATAF research team embarked on a field visit to Guinea-Bissau as part of its ongoing study on the effects of political institutions on taxation in West Africa. This visit was part of WATAF's second round of research activities supported by the Open Society Foundation. This occurred on April 22nd to 23rd of 2024. From the 2nd to 3rd of May 2024, WATAF hosted a 2-day virtual training workshop aimed at officials responsible for human resources functions within member countries' tax administrations, focusing on knowledge management and the intersection of HR policies in tax administration. We then played host to the representatives of the Institute of Fiscal Studies and the Center for Tax Analysis in Developing Countries, TaxDev, who were on a visit to discuss areas of possible collaboration. This happened on the 7th of May 2024. Following that, the WATAF Compliance Risk Management Network met to discuss and share knowledge on best practice compliance risk management. This took place virtually on the 8th of May 2024. On the 23rd of May 2024, the WATAF Tax Audit Network met. The meeting was centered on production of WATAF Tax Audit Manual, after which we participated at the 9th Africa Tax Symposium, which held in Nairobi, Kenya, from the 29th to 31st of May 2024, during which the Executive Secretary made a presentation. The event also featured thought-provoking examination of crucial issues bound to shape the fiscal landscape. On the 3rd to June 5th, 2024, at the 15th Africa Initiative meeting, the Executive Secretary of WATAF, Babatunde Oladapo, moderated a session on beneficial ownership transparency to tackle illicit financial flows and boost revenue mobilization in Africa. He was also a panelist during the session on optimizing capacity building initiatives in tax transparency to serve African countries' specific needs. From June 11th to 14th, 2024, WATAF participated in the 37th General Assembly of CREDAF, which took place at Brazzaville, Congo, with the theme Data Collection and Utilization from National Issues to an International Dimension. Tochukwu Sandra Onyemata shared WATAF's role in enhancing data collection and exploitation in West Africa. Moving forward, we participated at the 2024 ATI General Assembly themed Equity and Sustainability, Building Progressive Tax Systems, where Tochukwu Sandra Onyemata, WATAF DRM Coordinator, Communications and Liaison Manager, presented on the topic, the WATAF Domestic Revenue Mobilization DRM Framework for Member Countries. This took place virtually on the 18th of June 2024. Furthermore, WATAF organized a training program on taxation of income and wealth in West Africa. from the 23rd to the 26th of July 2024 in Lagos, Nigeria. The workshop aimed to equip tax administrators in West Africa with advanced knowledge and skills in leveraging geospatial analytics techniques for efficient property taxation, particularly focusing on using the techniques to identify high net worth individuals and businesses. At the second session, other ad hoc committee convened, which held from July 29, 2024 to August 16, 2024 at the United Nations headquarters in New York. The agenda, which included a crucial discussion on the Zero Draft Terms of Reference (TOR) for United Nations Framework Convention on International Tax Cooperation. WATAF submitted its comments on the zero draft in this context. Our submission was in line with our mandate to ensure that our members present a cohesive voice in international fora. On August 6, 2024, the WATAF chairman, Mr. Yankuba Daboe, paid a courtesy visit to the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Nigeria, to thank the service for hosting the WATAF Secretariat since its inception and to discuss other pressing needs of the Secretariat that will ensure the sustainability and growth of WATAF. He then visited the WATAF Secretariat. WATAF recognizes the significance of health taxes, commonly known as sin taxes, as a powerful tool to achieve multiple objectives. To further this mission and address critical health and environmental issues, we organized a workshop on promoting health and domestic revenue mobilization (DRM) sustainability through health taxes in West Africa, which held at Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso, from the 7th to 9th of August 2024. On the sideline, the Executive Secretary WATAF Babatunde Oladako and the Communications and Liaison Manager WATAF Tochukwu Sandra Onyemata paid a courtesy visit to the Honorable Minister of the Economy and Finance of Burkina Faso, Honorable Abubakar Nakanabu. The visit was to express gratitude to the government of Burkina Faso for hosting WATAF activities for the third time and for their ongoing support of WATAF's initiatives. This also provided an opportunity to discuss with the Director General of DGI Burkina Faso the many existing initiatives of WATAF that can help build the capacity of tax officials in Burkina Faso with a view to improving domestic revenue in the country. We also facilitated a 3-day study visit for the Liberia Revenue Authority (LRA) and the Swedish Tax Agency (STA) to the Kenya Revenue Authority (KRA) on taxpayer services, which kicked off on August 20th to round off on 22nd August 2024. On the 26th to 29th of August 2024, WATAF participated at the regional workshop on identifying and harmonizing indicators for monitoring the ECOWAS-CEDEAO tax transition, which took place in Lagos, Nigeria, where Nyatefe Walali.Sevi rendered our submission. Also on the 5th of September 2024, WATAF led a delegation of the FIRS and JTB to the National Population Commission to discuss collaborative opportunities on the use of geospatial data to enhance tax administration in Nigeria as it concerns property taxation, identification of high net worth individuals and businesses. We would not have achieved these feats without the support of our esteemed partners. The Economic Community of West African States, also known as ECOWAS, United Nations Development Programme, South Center, African Union, World Bank, African Tax Administration Forum, Local Government Revenue Initiative, Action Aid, Briticum, Deutsche Gesellschaft für Internationale Zusammenarbeit, GIZ, Ford Foundation, International Bureau of Fiscal Documentation (IBFD), Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Open Society Foundation, Oxfam, Tax Inspectors Without Borders, the Network of Tax Organizations, West African Union of Tax Institutes. Our profound appreciation goes out to you all, and we look forward to greater achievements in the coming years as our partnership continue to wax stronger. The West African Tax Administration Forum will continue to strive to promote efficient and effective tax administration in member states. WATAF, engaging for development.